And this is where we talk with the president. We're looking at the state of healthcare, wherever it is that you're tuned in around the country, the region, and the world. This you want to be part of. Our audience on KTN, good morning. And those who join us digitally, YouTube, Facebook, and on X today, let's get into this conversation. And frequencies around the country, asante sana for joining us. Now, the state of healthcare is one that should not be laughed at because things as we see them, it's not too pretty a picture, but we want to get to the bottom of it. The words that Dr. Miskela, who is the Deputy Secretary General of the KMPDU, was with us last week on Friday, the words that he spoke kind of stuck in my mind, and I love the way his delivery of an issue is laced with humor, but the seriousness of it cannot be ignored.
True.
If you're not talking about the health of the nation, over whom you will govern, over those that you will educate, those that you will keep secure, those that you will feed, then we have a problem. And how much they're going to then spend on it. That currently, we don't have a public health system. You have something that is morphing into kind of like some insurance system, and that it is not working in the way in which it ought to. That if you cannot get medical services to each and every corner of the country, then perhaps we have a problem. And that if you a system that is not able to pay folks on an insurance model, then there's a problem. If there is a system whereby you have people who've registered but are unable, not in all cases unwilling, but unable to pay the amount of money per month that it needs for this insurance system to work, then we need to be looking at this thing all over again. That perhaps the money that you're spending on things that don't work, if they were put into one pool where everybody then could gain access, then perhaps we're going into a different place. We had a health economist here who said, you know what needs to happen? That healthcare needs to be taxed. Do you understand when I say that? Remember how we talked about your road maintenance levy comes out of your fuel direct once. I don't ask you if you've paid this month because it's a direct thing. Nobody has to ask. The same thing should be done for health so that you free up that money to then do something else and you put it in this one basket, then you're guaranteed. That's what it means. That everybody in the consumables, that tax comes out of it. So that everybody then now goes to hospital and walks out having been treated. Capish?
Capish.
All right. Now, why that does not happen, the health economist told us last week that they too do not understand. That it was a suggestion that had been made, but it didn't happen. Now, while all this is happening, the most frequently visited referral hospital in East Africa and the largest at the moment functioning is the Kenyatta National Hospital. For the longest time, they've been operating, just trying to kind of taking everybody in. Remember, it's a referral hospital. You go there on a referral from a different medical facility, or you should. But with the health situation that we've had over the last, many years is that people rock up to Kenyatta National Hospital when they can, because they can. And the amenities in the hospital have not been up to scratch. Now, I want to say something here, that while that has been the case, Kenyatta National Hospital, with some of the medical practitioners in that hospital, have delivered some groundbreaking, mind-blowing procedures that have not been carried out anywhere else in the world.
True.
In the world, guys.
Yeah.
And this is not something that we're saying just because we want to speak in hyperbole. This is actually the case.
It's backed by evidence.
It's backed by evidence. It's shown there are people who've recovered and gone through some of these wonderful surgeries. They've done that on the back of a system that is not up to par in terms of optimal function. Now, put that aside. There has been an increase in the prices of medical services that have already been too expensive for a lot of people.
True.
This is not, do you blame KNH for raising the prices? No. This is a question of how are people going to afford it when right now you cannot put in your SHA membership for free healthcare at the moment. So when dialysis goes from 9,000, which was the rate, to twice to 25,000, then we're going to have to ask questions. When an endoscopy that used to cost 9,600 shillings is now 18,000 or 21,000 shillings, then you're going to have to ask a question. And these are tests which are, number one, preventative in nature, or we want to find out what's going on, or they're diagnostic in nature. If you want to find out what's going on the inside, it's necessary for you to have a test like this. Now, if these have doubled, almost tripled in price against a health system which is already kind of hobbling its way along, how is it going to happen?
Yeah.
Dear Mr. President, the state of healthcare is one that needs rapt attention, and that perhaps folks will say if you took just a little bit of that budget and assigned it to health, with people who actually knew how to operate, perhaps we'd see something different. But your people want to talk to you today. They want to tell you how they have operated when they have gone to hospital in the last 3 months. We're taking, guys, the last 3 months of the most recently completed financial year in Kenya. How's it been for you when you've gone to hospital? Is everything okay? If you have, that's fine too. But if you've been faced with an issue, let us know. Don't tell us SHA is not working. Tell us what you have actually experienced, and then maybe we can open up this conversation a little bit more. And you'll talk to us this morning on our lines just before Dennis comes in. And just to let you know what those lines are, 0732142650 or 0732142653. Ongena sisi leo asubuhi, let us know what is going on so that we can have an understanding of what it is before we even add the increased prices to all of this. That's 0732142653 or 0732142650. We'd love an opportunity to hear from you. Dennis?
When you talk about issues to do with healthcare, it's beyond just walking in and getting the service. It is all about the structures that have been put in place to ensure that the healthcare of a country does work, is accessible and affordable. When you talk about accessibility, one would want to say, when I go to hospital, how long does it take for me to get the service? And even when I get to get that service, am I able to pay for it? Now, enter SHA. SHA is there, 104 billion shillings. From the word go, there are issues with how that came about, because we already had a system called NHIF, and through their own mind and wisdom, they decided to change it into SHA. We've had conversations around taking that system through proper trials before launching it. That didn't happen. That's why we see the bugs that do exist today, and perhaps these are things that would have been addressed before. But that notwithstanding, there is also conversation around corruption within the system that continues to deny Kenyans access to these facilities. Now, couple that up together with misinformation, disinformation that does exist within this system, because nobody really understands what is going on. The president is telling you one thing, nenda ukatibiwe, enda nyumbani, ukiitishwa pesa nipigie simu. When you go and just read the SHA terms and conditions, that is not the message. So the president is giving you a different message, while SHA in its terms and conditions is telling you a different information. It comes to packaging and communication. SHA itself, the Ministry of Health, has not done a proper job in telling Kenyans on what they ought to do. We talk about over 32 million people who are registered. Okay, sawa, that's a good thing. But who is paying? Are we seeing everybody pay? Because we also realize that healthcare is not for free. It has to be paid for. The reason why we're talking about, let's put it as a tax where everybody gets to pay. Those who are paying through, say, their deduction, the statutory deductions, get to as well top up on the same. But how do we have a conversation on equity, equality, where each and every single person contributes to this kitty? Because SHA is not just for Ndu. It is not just for Seto. It is for Kenyans. It is about time we started having a conversation about healthcare, because a healthy nation is a thriving nation. That is our wealth. And if we are not serious about it, then there is nothing much we are doing. You will take kids to school who are sick.
Yeah.
You will have people in employment who are sick. You will have people in the army, in the police who are sick. What exactly are we doing when we cannot assure our children and our children's children that they are secured in terms of health? Because health is not just about my headache has gone. It is equally a security matter. It
is. Or is everybody walking into hospital and, things are looking a little bit better over the last 3 months, where you've been able to get in and, you say that, yes, you're covered under SHA, you give your ID, and then you can keep it moving. Has that changed? Or are people still saying, well, I'm just going to stay here in my corner? It would appear as though, well, somebody is being treated. Somebody is getting the medical care or attention that they need. But just still feels a little bit uncomfortable now that we hear the situation in which that Terry had to tell us about last week, where, people are still having to raise money to then make sure that their medical needs are met. That people are still having to be in dire situations where community health workers who get a particular stipend per month have to sometimes go and dig into their pocket to make sure that those that they're caring for actually do make it to hospital. Okay, so this is the real situation on the ground. We want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are. Folks are saying, well, I was already scared going to hospital, even with the way the bills were before. Now, with the increase in prices, I'm not sure that I would go there, and I would just have a situation where, essentially you're sitting with your illness. And is that the case? But are people not going to hospital and getting treated? Are they not under SHA and then being covered? Because people are paying. And this is interesting, because we also know that the three tiers of healthcare and where money goes and what comes from the exchequer and what comes from your contribution. Are there not enough people who are registered in SHA actually making the payment? But do tell us what your experiences are. We're looking at the last 3 months before the end of the financial year, and we'll hear from you this morning. Hello, good morning.
Sandu and Mr. Seto.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from, sir.
From Bondo, I'm Onyango.
Onyango from Bondo?
Yes.
Okay, tell us, what's your experience with healthcare SHA over the last couple of months? Has it been good, better, best?
Not over a couple of months, but for the whole year.
What happened?
When I registered, I was supposed to register for the whole year.
Okay.
And my experience was actually very painful. I went to an hospital when I was sick. I was taken to hospital when I was unwell. The hospital did a good job and treated me, and I was later discharged.
Okay.
But to my shock, SHA did not pay for me even a single cent. I was supposed to pay all the money, 2,300.
2,300 was for what?
For medication and everything. They only paid for consultation, 1,000.
Okay, so SHA paid 1,000 shillings.
SHA paid 1,000 shillings for consultation. For other medical needs, I paid 2,300, and I felt that I was cheated.
Because you paid up, so you paid the 720 shillings for one whole year, came to about 6,700, isn't it?
Yeah, I paid 650 was for 1 month, and you multiply that one by 12 months.
Yeah.
It comes to about 8,700.
8,700, yes, that's what you would normally pay. Okay. You had paid this amount, so what was your expectation? That you would go to hospital and you would not have to pay anything else, isn't it?
That was my expectation, madam.
Okay. Now, when you were treated, what did they tell you?
They told me that is only the only amount that SHA can cover for me, 1,000 shillings for consultation.
Okay.
And not only that, I again went later because I'm suffering from diabetes and high blood pressure. I was to pay again, and there was nothing I could do because I'm the one who must take care of my body.
I hear you.
SHA never paid for me anything other than consultation fees.
And Onyango, this is despite you being paid up fully for SHA.
For a whole year for SHA. Let me tell you one thing. When at first you were allowed to pay for 1 month, I paid 650, which they told me I should be paying. Then when I went before my 650 could expire, they told me the rules have been changed, so I should pay the whole amount of money. So I went home, looked for that money, paid for the whole amount of 1 year, and later SHA was not paying for me anything except the consultation fees, not giving me even a drug.
I hear you. How often do you have to go back to hospital, Onyango?
You know, I'm very old now. I'm about 76 years old, and you know, people who are 76 years old are very prone to sicknesses. So I have to go most of the time, but now I don't go because I go to hospital, all right, but I pay from my own pocket.
Because every time you go to hospital, you're being told that they will not cover?
They would not cover anything to do with medical expenses except consultation fees.
Which hospital did you go to?
I have one called Afiatele.
Okay. And this is where in Bondo?
This is in Osenga.
Osenga in Bondo. Okay.
Osenga is in Bondo.
When is your next appointment?
With the hospital?
Yes.
No, now I've resorted almost to private clinic where I am advised on the drugs which I should take. In fact, I even inject myself every day, 2 times in a day.
Okay. So you've said you're not going back to hospital?
I'm very reluctant. I cannot promise that I cannot go back, but I can see that the private clinic is helping me better than the hospital where I expect to pay.
Okay.
If Onyango, you were to tell the leadership about what it is you're going through.
Come up. Speak louder.
If you were to speak to the leadership in the ministry today about your situation, what would you say?
I would say that you would do a great job because we are really suffering. I'm not the only one anyway. And up to now, mine expired in June, so now I'm not very, very, very keen on renewing. I'm spending a lot of money, 8,700, and yet I get no service.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Onyango, thank you very much for calling this morning. We just wish you health and strength, and as you continue to navigate these waters. But definitely, I don't know what to say actually. But ours is that you can continue to be healthy, and that you will get what you need when you need it. As we continue to have these conversations to push that the system actually works.
Thank you for talking to the people on the ground.
Asante sana.
Welcome.
Man. Okay, so let's hear from you this morning, because you shouldn't have to. You can imagine he's at his age then saying, I'm not doing this again. I paid 8,700 shillings. The expectation is that I should go to hospital and get what I need. But then I was very sick at some point. Sha paid 1,000 shillings consultation, and the 2,300 had to come from my pocket, despite. What we are saying here is that despite the 8,700 having already been paid. So this is the conversation that we're having this morning. We want to hear from you. The state of healthcare in the country at the moment, these are the experiences. What did Onyango say as we're getting to the tail end of that conversation? Is that this is happening to a lot of people. It's just that they cannot speak up. And it's not just Onyango with diabetes or high blood pressure. It's other people with other instances and other issues. You can't get tired of raising some of these things, because the thing is that if it's not good, it has to come out into the open so that it can be made better. All right. So we'll hear from you this morning. 0732142653 or 0732142650. Also take a look at what it is that you're saying on socials this morning.
Even as we look at that, remember that Onyango is a senior citizen. He has worked his back out to push this country forward, and this is where the conversation as well on CHPs comes in. Going to health promoters who then should be having data on the likes of Onyango and actually even take these services where he's at. He doesn't have to be leaving his home to go seek for these services, But one asks the question, is it just a policy on paper? When it comes to implementation, it doesn't exist. But what many are saying here is Smoky MC Bandit is saying, told to hold our anger. Can those things doing so have been in government to tell us remove the current administration? Okay, that's about that. And Chris K says, eat healthy and pray not to be sick. Even the medical insurance companies are being scammed by some doctors and hospitals. Madly African, for me, it is dignity of imprisoning patients for example, at Mama Lucy, and then the politicians come and pay the bills for political PR opportunity. And Electine says, my people, I urge everyone, let's go to God in prayer and focus on peace and not be ruled by anxiety and confusion or what the evil wants. Eric War says, and by the consultation fee we pay in hospitals, what is it for? Are those people not paid for the same job they are doing? Good question right there. And Blacks, okay. that name. Can we also investigate hospitals? They insist on patients selecting bed cover for SHA and other costs, usually doctors, medication, etc. They want to be paid directly. Linda Gola says, selectively, this is the bit I do not understand. Why selectively? That is to say that SHA only work selectively in some specific instances, some specific regions, some specific hospitals, not across board.
The thing is that if you have a health system that works,
Yeah.
it should work across board. That we should not have a situation whereby somebody comes and says, well, I had an 85,000
Yeah.
shilling bill and SHA paid 84,000 shilling. Well, hurrah. And then somebody else had a 498,000 shilling bill and SHA paid 14,000. I mean, come on. Which system are we talking about? But it is clear here that the reason why this is happening is that from the very beginning, from the onset, because this is not even about migration to digital, that is clear from the very beginning that there was not enough money in the kitty for you to start giving out, or rather delivering health services.
Yeah.
Remember, once you go to hospital, you pay, you receive services in an arrears system,
Yep.
because they come back later to pay the medical facility.
Yes.
Now, in the event that this medical facility is not paid, there is very little left in the basket for somebody else to come later. So it's like they're divvying up the thing. Okay, you come in with this, let's see what we can pay here. Let's see, it's like pata potea. Let's see what we can pay here. Let's see what we can. In this case, we can only pay your consultation. We can't pay you for medication. You can't do that with a system whereby you said it is universally covered.
Yep.
UHC means, it doesn't mean that it actually does, that everybody will be covered, but that everything you do will be covered by
Yes.
virtue of the fact that you have made this contribution. It is the actuarial scientists who came up and said, you know what, this is what it looks like. This is what we can predict based on what everybody will pay.
Yeah.
And this is why we're asking you to pay this 2.75% or whatever the case may be, depending on what you earn. You don't have enough people paying into the basket. You have more people than you have money for. It is going to happen. So
Well.
it's not actually them sitting and choosing and saying, you know what, let's pay 14,000 shillings for Dennis, or let's not pay 2,300 shillings for Onyango. You don't have the resources in the basket adequate enough to deliver the service. So that's why we end up saying that SHA is not working. What is demanded of you, however, is that you would have sat prior to the rollout. Remember when we were saying,
Yes,
wait. At that time, it was CS Baraza. And we were saying, please,
Wait.
you wait and see how you're going to do this thing. They said, no, October 1, we are going. Okay, here we are now, 3 years down the line. And I don't know that it's any better than it was then.
You don't do. When you just listen to it, this is Onyango speaking here today. There is the other time we're talking to someone, I think it was Karanjo, someone, who said that he goes to hospital and he lies about how he's feeling.
Yeah.
So that he's not asked to dish out some more money because he doesn't have it. When you talk about access to healthcare, those two examples tells you that when one person is left out, SHA is not working. I don't care how you want to look at it. But at the moment where you call it universal healthcare and one person who is paid up does not access healthcare, please go tell that person that SHA is working. Go tell that person that SHA is working and that you're very proud that it is working. Because we've heard that man, how broken he is. He said, I have paid up, I have gone to hospital, I have sought services, they've told me I have to pay from my pocket. What has he told us? My SHA cover has expired in June. I am not keen in paying for that SHA because it did not work for me.
The 8,700 that I
Yeah.
paid actually didn't work for me. Why am I going to go and
Where
pay
am I going
again?
to pay back again?
Exactly. These are the real conversations. But you know, I just remembered something. You know how people just used to use it as a political gimmick back and forth? Have you noticed that SHA is not something that anybody's fighting about anymore? Because it's pretty evident across board that you're having more than teething problems with this thing. And that the people who use it are probably, you know how people do surveys and they go to the end user and ask them, how is this experience for you?
Give us your feedback.
Give us your feedback, and then you go back and you use that to then make it better. surprise. It could be that this is one of the ways in which this could actually work.
Yep.
We're talking about SHA this morning. Dear Mr. President, this is what it looks like. And definitely hearing from you on our call 0732 142 653 or 0732 142 650. Let's hear from you. The state of healthcare is what we're looking at this morning. And that if that situation is not getting better, and I just thought about it, it's no longer a thing that people fight over.
You know,
in Parliament, they used to say, "Well, SHA is working." Well, no, it's not working. Why? Well, my person went and the bill was $1 million shillings and they paid. Nobody fights about it anymore. You know why? Because it's clear that now you are stuck with your skunk and you have to figure it out as you go ahead.
because they know the truth.
They know the truth, that it is not guaranteed. And that's the thing, that it was guaranteed that you would go to hospital and you'd be treated. But now it is not guaranteed. It doesn't matter what you want to blame it on. Actually, it does. But if you want to say it's because people are not paying, so we don't have enough money to go around. If you want to say that it is because not everybody's in the system and not everybody's accounted for. If you want to say that there was a debt from before and what we're trying to do is chip away at the debt block or whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, the result is the same. That it is not guaranteed. It's actually UHC is supposed to be guaranteed. But right now, what we're dealing with, it doesn't matter what political side you sit on.
Yep.
But, hey, I'm about to say it, but I'm already feeling pain.
Let me tell you.
You're actually not guaranteed
Yeah.
of healthcare, universal, free coverage in this country at the moment.
You're
You
not.
don't.
And you
no.
see, the people who are actually even confirming that you are not is the political class itself. Those who have been making noise and telling us how SHA is working. Because just the other day, there was that entire debacle in a hospital when a legislator went to a hospital to pay for bills that ought to have been covered by SHA. It's not me, it was there. Right? It is all these political class, those who are supposed to be making sure that SHA is working, that every other weekend they are in Harambe giving money for people to go for treatment. If this SHA was working, why are they in Harambes? Why are they now going to hospitals, paying for hospital bills where SHA is supposed to be covering those? That goes to tell you or to show that there is a gap, there is an emptiness within the system that is not working, and they are not prepared to deal with that. You know why? Because anybody who wants that system to work will do everything to avoid appearing in these harambes because their money could be used to do other things. But they would rather have it not work because that is a political campaign card.
Do you feel that people are resigned to the fact that the thing may just not work optimally and will just, get by? Do you think Kenyans have reached the point whereby they're now saying, you know what? Okay, well, I'll try my hand today at using SHA to get treated. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, Do you think Kenyans have gotten to the point where, Onyango told us that he's not
trying
going
it
to bother
anymore.
again.
I tried it. I've tried it 3 times. It has not worked for me. It has not, I'm sitting here, I'm telling you, it has not. Got to a point where now what you do is you thank God for the facilities that you get because the company is gracious to give me a private insurance cover. That's what I use. But I am deducted for SHA. I pay for SHA. It should work for me. It has not worked for me. So if I'm telling you that nowadays I go to hospital and I don't even bother bringing the SHA conversation, it tells you I'm tired. But this is my story. There are others out there who the only thing they know is SHA. And if someone like Onyango is telling us today that he's 72 years old, he is at that age where sickness is common, goes to hospital, it does not work. He has decided instead of paying 8,700 for something that will not work, I might as well use that 8,700 to pay for this private facility, not even public, private facility that is treating me better than the national system that should be working better, should be setting the standards. Do you know the kind of indictment we're getting from Onyango right now? That he prefers private facility because the public hospitals are not working for him.
And then we breathe just a little bit. Let's take some more of your calls this morning. 0732 142 653, 0732 142 650. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, Madam Ndu and Aseti. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Me, I'm fine and a very angry man.
Okay, First, tell us your name, sir, and where you're calling from.
From Bahati, Nakuru.
So, your name is?
Karanja.
Karanja.
Karajawa Weru from Nakuru.
Karajawa Weru, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Tell us, what's upsetting you?
When anything is working, people don't have to shout that it's working. I mean, the giver of those services don't need to shout and tell people it's working. If it's working, the consumer, those people needing the services are the ones who would be advertising, not the government itself. I'll tell our president, Mr. Ruto, President Ruto, that, dear Mr. President, you and your government are lying to Kenyans that SHA is working. And yet, we who go to consume that service don't get it. Let's come to church hospitals.
Yeah.
Churches are political. So when they say they will not provide services because they have not been paid, then they are speaking a fact. Last year, the Ministry of Health had 138 billion set aside for the program of providing universal health.
Yes.
Where did that money go? Because when people said Linda Mama is not working, our president said Linda Mwananchi is the one which is working. But pregnant mothers...
I think Linda Mwananchi might be something else, but okay. Go ahead, sorry.
But he talked about Linda something. Again, it's Linda Mama.
Yes.
This program failed. It was in NHIF. There was also the secondary school program for students in secondary schools.
Yes, there was.
Yesterday, my granddaughter was here at home. She was ailing. When she went to the nearest clinic near us here, they told her, enda nyumbani, uliza kama wazazi wamejiandikisha SHA. Instead of treating the girl first. The other thing is this. SHA is a scam right from the word go. Since its inauguration, remember they used 104 billion for the system.
Yes.
A system that is not working. A system where when the sick go, they are told, oh, the system is down, and for you to get the one-time whatever number.
Password, the OTP.
You have to wait for a week. How do you control the sickness you have to wait for a whole week so that you can get a service? And yet our MPs, the government, is shouting on the rooftops how SHA is doing a good job. It was a scam right from its inauguration. Why? One thing, SHA did not have specific guidelines stating how the patient and the government will be operating. Nowadays, we are paying this money through eCitizen. eCitizen is another scam. Kenyatta National Hospital, collecting so many millions in a day, does not have money to provide food for its patients, even basic services for the patients. And I don't know where the government and President Ruto is a consumer of everyday
intelligence.
Does the intelligence people tell him SHA is working? And why should the MPs be going out to pay for patients if SHA is working? We should tell the president the king is naked. And if he wants to be re-elected next year, he should joke with all the other things, but with the health of its citizenry, he should take this thing seriously.
Definitely hear you.
Number two, he should also take the security of Kenyans seriously. Those two basic things can make him be re-elected. But right now, the inhuman way they're treating the local citizens, the common mwananchi, and yet they themselves don't go to those hospitals. They should go the Magufuli style. Magufuli ordered all government workers, MPs, and all the others to be going to the public health facilities so that they can make these facilities work.
Absolutely.
I think I'm so annoyed I can't go on now because the anger is rising. And I thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Karanja, thank you very much. I definitely hear that, and I can understand that where it's coming from, because this is the two things that he said have resonated with me. First of all, the intelligence, do they tell the leadership that this is actually working? Because if they do, then they're lying. And then he said, you know what, if they had to access these services, they would actually make sure that it is working.
Yep.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Simon Kibiru.
Yes, Simon.
I'm calling from Mombasa.
Yes.
And I just want to register my sadness with this share business.
How so, Simon?
I registered since February this year.
Okay.
And when I went there, I was put through some questions, and they said I should pay 6,000. That should be annually.
Okay.
Since then, I have had twice I've had health conditions. I've gone to hospitals, and they tell me we are not accepting this unless you are a teacher or a civil servant.
Okay.
So it actually means teachers are not as many as people who are not teachers.
Hang on a minute. When you were registering for this in the first place, when they asked you to pay this 6,000 shillings, Simon, did they mention anything to you like the services that you come to seek, you will only give them to you if you're a teacher or a civil servant? Did they say anything like that to you at that time?
No, they never did. And the only hospitals that said probably they can give me some help is, I went to 3 of them, and they were saying we can only help you if you are admitted. And the amount we'll pay for you is only for the bed.
Okay.
So basically, all they told you is
you have to meet all the other costs, the medicine, the doctor, and everything else.
So basically, they told you that they can only pay for you if you are inpatient, not outpatient.
Yeah, if you are an outpatient, they have nothing to do with you. If you are an inpatient, they'll just pay for your bed and nothing else.
So when you went to hospital on these occasions when you were told this, how did you get treated?
Well, the hospital, I went to private hospitals, and they were very cordial. They were very okay, but they were explaining to me. They explained to me very clearly that they cannot treat me with my 6,000 shillings a year unless I'm a teacher or a civil servant. Actually, my wife is a teacher, and she always gets treated anytime she goes to hospital. Me, I cannot get treated.
So how did you manage without the treat? What did you do? Did you have to pay out of pocket? What happened?
Yeah, I had to pay out of pocket because if you are sick, what do? You need to look for money and pay because you need to take care of your health. So definitely the share is not working. Probably it's working for a few people. But probably I think they are doing that because they are scared that teachers can go on the street. Teachers will go on strike. But the rest of the people, you are left on your own.
Sorry to hear this, Karanja. And just to again clarify that you're paid up for the entire year with the 6,000, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry to hear this, and at this point, what we can do is register our sadness with this, and also with you, our sympathy as well. But then to continue to have this, so let's continue to highlight these issues because something has got to give at some point, Simon.
Yeah, we have to. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Asante Sana, we're still taking your calls this morning to hear from you. The state of healthcare, dear Mr. President, is what we're talking to you about this morning. So let's hear from some others. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Peter.
Yes, Peter.
I'm calling from Makueni.
Okay.
this thing of SHA. Last week, I think last week on Wednesday, I went to the hospital just to. I took my son for dental checkup. At the end, because I reached at the hospital around 9 a.m. And by 1 p.m. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, by 1 p.m. It was not working. I had to pay out of pocket.
So,
and I have paid. Yes. So this thing is not working.
You said you were at hospital at 9 a.m. What were you waiting for until 1 o'clock?
I was told the Atheni system is not working. I was sent to the SHA offices in water.
Okay.
I went there. I was told my son is among the beneficiaries. When I went back to the hospital, I was told that my son is not being seen as among all the dependents. So you can see the kind of humiliation that I went through until I had now to the same hospital. I had now to pay
From
for
pocket.
1,000 for consultation and another 2,500 for the son now to be done the dental health checkup.
Peter, let me get you clearly. You say that you went to the offices in Wote, and there you were told that your child is a beneficiary and would be able to get the services.
Yes.
But going back to the hospital tells you a contradicting information that your son is not a beneficiary.
Yes. They even told me to produce the birth certificate, of which I did. I had carried the birth certificate with me, of which I did. But at the end of the day, I was told for my son to be seen, I have to pay.
Okay.
So you got the services from the same hospital that denied you
same
SHA.
hospital, yes.
But
now with money.
But now they
Yes, with
accepted
money.
that the child who they asked for proof that you are the parent finally got services in the same hospital because you paid out of pocket.
Yes.
Father Lord. Okay.
Right.
Okay, this is a tough one, but I think that call us off. But just this is the reality of our times. It's interesting because here you are. First of all, you said, well, prove to us that this is your child, first of all, and that they can have access. I guess the proof is in the PESA. Yeah.
Because I wonder, what happens when the actual office tells you your child is a beneficiary, but you come back to the implementers of this system, that is the hospital, and the system is not the same.
No.
Make me understand.
I wish I could. I really wish I could.
How does that then? Because even if you go back to Simon from Mombasa, he says that the wife goes to hospital, gets treated, and that's good, right? But when he goes to seek the very same services, then he's told,
you're not a teacher or a
you're
civil
not a teacher
servant.
or a civil servant, you'll not get it. This gentleman goes to the very same hospital, gets different information. Take me through the universality, if that's a word, of SHA. Take me through equality and equity of this service to Mwananchi.
Let's take one more call. This could be the silver bullet, whereby we're told that it actually works perfectly. Let's see. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Naweza ongea Kiswahili?
Hakuna shida, endelea bro.
Mimi naitwa Joshua.
Yes,
Niko
Joshua.
Eldoret. Mimi nataka kusema hivi. Mimi juzi nimeenda na rafiki yangu kwa hospitali na mwanamke.
Okay.
Akitaka kujifungua na hakuwa amejiandikisha kwa SHA. So tukifika pale ilichukua muda mfupi sana yeye kujiandikisha. Walimuuliza kama amejiandikisha, akasema hapana. Ilichukua muda mfupi sana akajiandikisha. Kujiandikisha saa hiyo akalipa 200 shillings. Na mwanamke aliweza kuhudumiwa mpaka akajifungua na akatoka na mtoto. So SHA inafanya, lakini kuna mtu unaweza toka uende level 5. Level 5 ni ya watu wenye wako na pesa. Lakini ukienda hizi level 4, level 3 utapata huduma yenye itakufaa wewe. Sasa mtu anatoka huko anaenda level yenye haimfai na anaenda kudimandi huko anataka ahudumiwe. Utahudumiwa namna gani?
Okay.
Haya, kuangalia tena kwa hizi kwa huduma ya SHA wanaangalia kwa system yako na vile umejiandikisha na simu yako ina operate namna gani. Uko na biashara, uko na pesa, uko unafanya kazi, lazima uende kulingana na yako vile inafanana. Mimi kwangu nimejiandikisha kwa SHA. Ukiangalia kwa simu yangu naingiza, ingawa si zangu, naingiza na kutoa. Lakini sasa kulipa inataka nilipe 7,200. Na mama ya kwangu mwanamke amejiandikisha same kwa nyumba moja. Amejiandikisha yeye analipa 2,400. Unaona kuna difference
kabisa.
Kwa sababu yangu inaonekana simu ina operate. So yule mtu anaenda kwa SHA na ana operate anaingiza na kutoa. Wanajua ya kwamba huyu anaingiza na kutoa. Kuna mtu mwingine mwenye hana chochote. Na ndio hiyo serikali inaangalia mtu mwenye hana chochote atahudumiwa namna gani kwa SHA kama hana chochote, na wewe unataka mhudumio kwa same kwa level moja.
Joshua,
hiyo ndio kitu inasumbua watu. Unasikia mtu anasema SHA haifanyi, kwa sababu wewe umetoka nyumbani hauna chochote, unaenda kwa level 5, utahudumiwa namna gani?
Joshua, nina swali. SHA itajuaje transaction yako ya M-Pesa ndio iamue kuwa wewe una biashara unaingiza na kuweka? Kwa sababu hiyo information ambayo unasema kama ni M-Pesa unaweka pesa, hiyo information hata serikali ya Kenya mtu atasema hajui, kwa sababu ni information ya Safaricom. So SHA itajuaje kuwa wewe ni mwanabiashara unaweka pesa ukitoa?
Kwa nini wewe unaingia kwa system unajiandikisha na simu? Unajiandikisha na simu kuonyesha ya kwamba kuna mtu huko reserve hata ako na simu, lakini hata kupokea 100 shillings hapati. Unaona, uenda simu yake itaoperate kwa mwezi mmoja, uenda atakuwa ameingiza 500 only. So unaona kuna different ya huyu mtu anaingiza 500 only kwa mwezi ama anaingiza 300 kwa mwezi. Na wewe unaingiza na kutoa inaingia karibu 10,000 or 15,000.
Okay, so wewe unasema inalingana na ile pesa uko nayo. Ukisema uko na pesa kidogo, kuna vile SHA itakusaidia. Kama uko na pesa mingi, kuna vile SHA
itakuhudumia.
Sawa.
Inahudumia.
Sawa. Wacha tuiache hapo. Asante sana. Thank you very much for calling this morning. I think another thing that needs to happen is education about how this system actually works. It's important.
Because the information that I've just gotten from him, that will be information that it is KRA that is interested in, based off how much you're getting in and the taxes that you ought to pay. Because at the registration point, if you are in private practice, you're doing your business, it is information that you key into the system that will determine how much you paid. It is not ostensibly because SHA has access to your transaction in your phone. They would never have that information.
Yes, my dear. Okay, look, guys, dear Mr. President, this morning was the state of healthcare. And if anything has been made very clear to us this morning, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Or just to make a very effort at the very, basic level to make sure that people even know what is supposed to be the case. It's unfortunate we have to end on that dip this Monday.
It's not a dip. It's an expose on what exactly must be done.
Must be done, for sure. And that's where we are this morning. Thank you for being in the Situation Room this morning. It's 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your listening on SpiceFM. Thank you for all our audiences who tuned in this morning for us to have these conversations about things that affect our life then moving forward. Yolanda is up next at 11 o'clock with Sugar and Spice, and you want to hear her word around town. This one is going to be really interesting, getting into Monday in our mid-morning. But for now, between now and that time, enjoy music, Sugar and Spice, and everything nice. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.